All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Idea Stream. That's a random name. I don't know if that's our name, but anyhow, what we're going to do today is we're going to bring up problems and then brainstorm some solutions and throw them in Obsidian, which is our idea bank where we keep all of our interesting ideas. We're going to try to connect them together and just chat about what they could be. So let's get started. So weather, is this our first one? Weather affects driving?
Yep.
All right, folks. So the process kind of here is we start by throwing the problem in here. It's really inconvenient. We don't quite have a name.
Yep.
We start with problems. That's kind of informed by our own work. We had a smoke detector startup and we started with ideas, and that really bit us. And then it's also informed by Paul Graham of Y Combinator, who's got a great article about why you should start with problems, not solutions. So our goal is kind of to get a problem out here and then iterate over a bunch of solutions that could or couldn't work. So all right, so our problem here to start is weather affects driving, but is not visible in the Maps app.
Yeah, so I mean, think about it. Like if there's a big rainstorm, and you're on the highway, you end up only being able to drive, sometimes 25 to 40 miles an hour. And map apps don't take that into consideration.
I wonder, like, why haven't Apple or Google done this? Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, they both have like weather apps that they've acquired, and it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is that highways are probably the best places to drive regardless, right? Because I'm guessing they have the best drainage and you go down the list, there's less, since all traffic flow is unidirectional, you don't have to worry about, intersections. So it might just be that, yeah, it affects driving, but it doesn't actually change the decision you would make.
Yeah, I think in this part of the country, I remember I was in South Dakota on the res, and I wonder if it was the same for you in New Mexico, but like when it rained, we didn't go anywhere because everything was dirt roads and the roads got washed out. Was that the same in Rehoboth?
Yeah, there were certainly some places you couldn't go dependent on the weather.
Yeah. So maybe this isn't like a mainstream solution, but like really useful. Or I was in Costa Rica, and those roads were all dirt, and those were mountain roads too. So I imagine that those you didn't drive when it was raining.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you think this would? Do you think the algorithm that generates a route would just, view plan the route accordingly, or do you think it would be just like a radar overlaid on the map?
I think I like a radar with a click button. Yeah. You know what would be interesting is I think we have a test here, and it would be to create a web app version of this. And I have one that I've done. Let's see. I have one that that has Google Maps on it. It'd be interesting if I could then just build on top of that Let me see what this is called. I think it's maps. Yeah. Yeah, let me show you. So I already, yeah, because I think I have some of this already going. Yeah, let me see. Local. So this would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, we'd effectively just overlay a radar on here. I have this built already. I don't know how hard that would be to do, is to layer images on top of here, you know? But
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that. That's already a thing, but. So I just based off my TypeScript course. I think I have that in there. That would be fairly fast. We might want to create a web app regardless, because then we don't have to build mobile apps.
Mm-hmm.
People could access it on any device then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that one done. So, I'm excited about this one. Work cannot be visualized. Certain kinds of work, I guess. How do you? So Neil works in manufacturing. He's a manufacturing engineer. Do you feel like you can visualize your work? Is this a me problem?
No, I don't feel like I can visualize my work right now. Certainly in the last job where I was in a test lab, that was all like tangible work, and you know, it was very clear what you needed to do all the time. Whereas right now I don't feel like I feel like for the past couple days I've been working on changing the standard work, and I feel like I'm spending a lot of time on it, and I don't feel like I'm getting very far.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I make it tangible to that I'm actually doing work?
Yeah, I'm noticing that like money is intangible is a similar class of problem here.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually reminds me, I'm gonna go back here. Do you actually, before I forget, is this a workshop, lab, or a studio?
Oh, I think this probably would be an article first. I forget what that is.
I think that's studio.
Studio. Yeah.
So just kind of as a heads up, basically we classify ideas by where they're at in the process. So studio is writing, lab, quick and dirty experiment. So like, I think this is between a studio and a lab, but
Yeah. It depends where we go.
it just depends on how hard this would be.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
stub this
Sorry.
up.
I didn't realize you switched to the other.
The weather, yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna stick with that as a studio. So yeah, money is intangible is a similar class of problem here. I'm trying to think, do we have any other? There's a lot of actually interesting ones. So what do you think some solutions are?
A weaponized checklist.
A weaponized checklist?
Just being very aggressive with the checklist and having everything. You could also do time tracking. Um,
I wonder about there's this app called Waka. I think Waka Time. So this like dashboard, this is for developers, but it like gives you stats about your programming.
mm-hmm.
So like, how long did you do it? What languages did you do it in? Like,
Yeah.
so like creating stats. I guess that's a more general category in walk it time, like creating metrics. I feel like Designing Your Life, which is a book about careers, has the Good Time Journal, which is a form of doing this. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I think there's just reflecting on my work.
Yeah.
It's just hard when because not even like the category of like when you brought up walk a time,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not even doing things, consistent things,
Mm.
right? I might be, doing something on my computer and then I get pulled to the line. So there's not,
Mm.
I don't know. It'd be hard to automate that.
Well, I almost wonder in yours if it's like task switch, like task switching stats. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say.
Mm.
Like walking, that'd be an interesting metric for you.
Yeah.
Like, but I know that even that's probably not consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I think this could be a good lab or studio, sorry.
Yep. Yep.
And I guess by studio we mean article.
Yep.
It's our own secret language for it. I like this problem. It's hard to know when you're overpaying for things. It's hard to know when you're getting duped. I'm a little gullible, I guess. I think, or it's hard to know the trade-offs. I have this interesting rule right now. I'm trying to eat better and exercise more, and as part of that, I can only buy food from places I can walk to. I can only buy groceries. So the only places near me are like quite expensive, but I am eating much healthier. Although I ate something last night that gave me like a horrible rash. So maybe this isn't the best plan, but I mean, for the most part, I feel healthier. I feel better. And that's like a trade-off I'm willing to make, but yeah, kind of interesting. What does that give you feedback? I almost wonder about rent here. Could be in like, is this useful for low cost items or only for big ticket items? So is it going to create unrealistic expectations as well? Like maybe some people have like an in on a washer dryer set and they get it for, I don't know how much washer dryers cost, but really cheap. And you're like, oh, I should find out how to do that. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially like a Kelly Blue Book for everything.
Yeah.
And Honey to some extent does it for low ticket items.
Oh,
Low ticket online items. How do you not have honey?
I don't know. I should probably put honey in here. Forget how to do this. There we go. Apple. Annoying. Home
Do you
extension.
not like honey?
No, I just think it makes you spend more money. And I never get coupons that work.
True. Yeah, I guess it's benign in my life.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just kind of scammy. But I just feel like this is a really I think this is a really hard problem actually.
Yeah.
I guess like one question is like why haven't been solutions to this problem? If there were, what happened to them? And I'm gonna add the hard problem tag here.
Yeah.
Or just hard, that's what it is, it's hard. Because I think this is actually very, very challenging. Like a data problem.
Yeah. Well, it's a data problem meet a values problem. Because think about rent, and it's like, okay, everything is unique, but then it's unique, and if for you, it's like how much does perceived safety matter, and how much does driving matter, and you go down the list, and they'll change for every person.
I guess there's like now that I'm really thinking about it, like Gas Buddy does this. Gas. There are companies that do this. It's just a fragmented, like there are solutions out there. They're just fragmented. Maybe it's best they stay that way. Like Gas Buddy is really good. And I assume, honestly, I assume Honey is really good too. I think budgeting apps make you spend more. That reminds me of that. Actually, not really, now that I think about it. I'm just kind of grasping at straws because I want it to be connected to something. Can you think of any?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay. I'll leave that blank for now. All right.
Do we want to get one more or call it there?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Oh, this is a big one. I think I have some solutions to this. Like I've actually implemented some solutions. Oh, there's already a file for that. All right, I'm gonna delete you. This is not taking. Oh, we threw this.
Look at that.
Well, we need to clean this up though, because this is not good.
Yep.
All right. Why is that way? So let's do personal. I think there's new books we can talk about, like Worldwide, Anti-Fragile, discusses this. Let's see. And then like my new budgeting system takes this. So for all that don't know, my budgeting process is like, it's all based on proportions, and it's kind of risk based out. So like one risk is that you run out of money in checking and you overdraft. So I have 1.6 to 2 times my monthly expenses in checking at all times. Then basically I know that purchases under $25 don't move the needle for me, because it's less than 2.5% of the difference between my income and my monthly expenses. So I don't think about those purchases because they're discretionary. And then everything over 100, more than 2.5% of my income is a big purchase. I have to have that in savings and be able to buy it 3 times comfortably. So just kind of like, it's all based on risk. So I spend kind of based on, my spending is flexible based on how much I have at that current moment. So instead of having a budget where I spend the same amount every month, no matter what, this allows me to adapt to changes in my income. It keeps me safe. So I always have like a set amount of money to the side. So yeah, I feel like that's a solution right there. Is so Neil, I can't think of any solutions on the big scale. I think we're seeing this happen right now with the federal government nearing our debt limit.
Yeah, I think Taleb hits the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah.
That we have an inherently anti-fragile system that we have not let it work its process. We've smoothed out the small variability, and that has turned an anti-fragile system into a fragile one. Yeah.
Maybe the solution is like advocate for good budgeting in your local government.
Yeah, I think strong towns would probably.
Let me add strong towns here. I don't have strong towns either.
Just really dropping the ball today.
Yep, all over the place. Everywhere. Apple. So can you explain what strong towns is a little bit?
Yeah, strong towns is a podcast, and they write articles advocating for strong towns. So towns of, smaller towns that are pretty, independent and walkable, and the
almost like city states in
some way.
Yeah, like they're independent, like they are financially independent.
Yep. So that would help isolate problems. So if we had Bank of America fail, that affects everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if the Jimmytown Bank fails, that really hurts Jimmytown, but it's not gonna hurt Neilville.
Oh, that's nice, Neilville.
Yeah,
that is a better ring to it than Jimmytown. I gotta say,
like
your marketing for your city is on point. I think folks, we're gonna end it on that really, really high note. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna figure out how to stop recording, and yeah, we will see you next week.